Mash on This, Mashable's daily culture and entertainment show that gives you tomorrow's biggest news stories today. I'm your host, Christine Kraft, who is also part boat, also known as Dory Greenberg. On Mash on This, we give you a quick rundown of what we think is the best the internet has to offer. So be sure to tell us what you think in the comments, and we'll get to them at the end of the show. Don't be shy. Now, let's get into it, shall we? It seems like so much of the world right now feels abnormal and uneasy, and nowhere is that more evident than in the Arctic. According to Mashable science editor Andrew Friedman, rapid climate change is transforming the vast region by warming air and sea temperatures, shifting weather patterns, and melting sea and land ice at faster rates than were ever anticipated by even the most pessimistic forecasts a few years ago. The National Snow and Ice Data Center reported that March 2017 was the 6th month in a row to set a record for the lowest sea ice extent. And to put it in perspective for you, a chunk of ice about the size of Texas, California, and Kentucky combined was missing from the top of our planet. This is not a joke, and it is not up for debate. The facts are indisputable, and everyone should be concerned about it. We strongly encourage you to read Andrew's full article, complete with equally beautiful and disturbing imagery of the Arctic, on Mashable.com. Read it now before it is too late. Now, on to the fun stuff. Yay! So Nas, the rapper, came out with a song called Ether in 2001, and it remains one of, if not the most vicious diss track ever released. To me, it seems like Keith Olbermann has been steadily ramping up his criticism of President Trump and his White House associates, culminating in what might be Keith Olbermann's own version of Ether in his latest edition of the GQ web series, The Resistance. And here's just a taste of the flamin' hot Cheetos bars that cool Keith threw down.
Who else but a jackass would let Homeland Security try to trample the First Amendment to unmask one of his critics on Twitter? Who else but a jackass would have escaped disaster during the campaign after the Access Hollywood sexual assault tape, yet still publicly defend a serial sexual harasser like your pal Bill O'Reilly and claim he'd done nothing wrong? Who else but a jackass would accuse a New York Times reporter of being the PR person for Hillary Clinton, and when she replies, "Mostly by you, though," you reply, "No, mostly by a lot of people," like you're 12 freaking years old? Who else but a jackass could have a collection of pet television hosts, propagandists so stupid that they would not think to delete 4-year-old tweets that prophesied your nitwitted policy? Glad our arrogant president is enjoying his taxpayer-funded golf outing after announcing the U.S. should take military action against Syria. You are a jackass. President Jackass.
Ooh, baby. Whew. Can you see the flames coming out of his eyes? I can. Whew. Olbermann said the word jackass 27 times in the roughly 6-minute video, and also went in on schlockmeister Ivanka Trump and nitwit son-in-law Jared Kushner, who he described as a triumph of double nepotism. Like Jay-Z, I don't think Trump will be responding with his own diss track, because even if he did, it just would not match up. Hey, Chihuahua. If you're still royally pissed at United Airlines, you are not the only one, because someone created a Chrome extension that's dedicated to helping you boycott the airline. It's called Drop United, and when you download it, the extension completely removes United as an option when you're searching for your flights on Google Search, Google Flights, Kayak, and Expedia. When you go to dropunited.com, the site states corporations can treat you like S-word expletive because you'll eventually forget you were ever mad. So the next time you search for a flight, Drop United ensures that United won't have a seat in your options. And they also said, "Welcome to the United States of humanity." I think if you could mic drop from a cruising altitude of 30,000 feet, Drop United might have just done that. But would you download this kind of Chrome extension to bring down an airline? Let us know in the comments. Uber has been like morphing into this weird, evil empire that will also drive you home when you're drunk. The bad press just keeps on coming for them, and there's a new piece of damning evidence that just came out. The information reports that from 2014 to early 2016, Uber previously used secret software called, and I'm not even joking, Hell, to crack to track the location of available Lyft drivers and showed which of those Lyft drivers also worked for Uber, enabling Uber to attempt to snatch them away full-time. According to our assistant real-time news editor, Marcus Gilmer, Hell got its name as something of a counterpart to Uber's controversial GodView program, which included real-time information about its users. Using Hell involved the creation of fake Lyft rider accounts and using software to track the Lyft drivers who responded to these fake riders. This top-secret Hell program is just the icing on the cake for Uber's list of wrongdoings, but yet doesn't come as a surprise because Uber continues to be shady AF. People can be shady in very explicit ways. I'd consider outing someone's sexuality or gender identity for personal gain as a perfect example of explicit shadiness. And that's exactly what happened on the most recent episode of Survivor, when the contestant Jeff Varner outed Zeke Smith as transgender. Take a look.
Why haven't you told anyone you're transgender? What I'm showing is a deception.
But that's personal.
It has nothing to do with the game.
That's personal. You didn't have to do that.
That is so wrong for you to bring that up.
I'm not using that as anything negative.
It has nothing to do with the game. That's personal.
I'm not knocking him.
That's not deception. You just...
Yeah, that was
that's
just
so
to reveal
dirty,
to
Jeff.
whom he wanted.
I argue.
Clearly, everyone, even host Jeff Probst, was horrified that Varner could stoop to this level. Later in the clip, Smith responded by explaining that he didn't want to be labeled as the trans Survivor player, but instead wanted to be Zeke, the Survivor player. Varner later apologized, but was still voted off the show, which is a kind of immediate justice that is just so rare nowadays. Thankfully, according to a GLAAD post, the LGBTQ organization's transgender media program worked with Zeke Smith and CBS for several months beforehand to train Zeke and make sure that he would have the opportunity to speak for himself about his experience if it should ever come up. This serves as a reminder that nobody should be outing anyone else ever. Just mind your own business, please, and thank you. This next story explains why I do not miss my home state of Florida. I grew up in an area where there were both acres full of horses and canals full of alligators. And it was only a matter of time before their worlds clashed during the cell phone video era that we are now living in. Check it out.
Oh, Tim, get back.
Oh. Did he bite him? Just leave him alone.
God damn.
He did? I just feel bad for this animal. Do you think it's okay?
Ooh. So Crystal Berry, who filmed the video, said she did call the animal reserve to check on the animals and that there were no clear signs of bleeding or distress from the horse or the gator when they left the scene, which is great news. And sure, the horse was definitely being kind of a bully, but that's what happens when you mess with a whole mess of horses. Anyone in Florida will tell you that. And then this is when I would hop on my ATV and then just speed away, but I left it at my mama's house.